Status update September 2025. This status update is going to be a little bit different from the other ones because I guess the other ones were a little bit more following each other, and this one I just followed the New Year's resolutions from the past one because it was the previous status update was February 2025, which I will link obviously at the end of it as with always. But yeah, previous ones had been like a month, 2 months separated, and this one is almost half a year separated. So yeah, there's been actually a lot of changes and a lot of things like this. So yeah, let's start I guess with that. Since February, what has been going on? In February I mentioned that I was in the course to become a train driver, like in the German course, so I was like locked into that path, and I had become like already my health tests back and such, and I was in, and now I am like 5-6 months in, no, since April, 5 months into this, 5-6 months, and yeah, basically as I write here, I got my Führerschein in May. So basically it's been going to German class and doing a couple of activities going to train driving class in German and doing some activities like this. How's the vibe in the German, in the class? It started quite basic and it's been progressing. So now we're dealing with kind of quite advanced, you could say, train related topics and like train service topics, right? Bahnbetrieb. And yeah, that's like how class has been. It has evolved this way. It started with like the basic concepts from it, and then now we are doing like I guess irregularities, situations like that are irregular, these kind of things. Still with theory, with some kind of practice days in between, with some simulator days, with some days that we go into the cabin and drive actually. And yeah, a little bit of the timeline. We arrived in April. I got my Führerschein in May. Führerschein is like a really basic train driving license that works for all of Europe, and then the rest of the driving license is called Zusatzbescheinigung, and it's a bigger driving license that the company gives you. It's like that's like the main thing that lets you drive trains from that company. Then we had some more classes until August. Almost the whole of August I went to in vacations to Spain, like from the 4th to the 22nd or something like this. And yeah, I mentioned already how the classes have been, and some losses I wrote here because we've lost some people. We started being all of the people who came to Spain, who came from Spain, which we were 10, and then 2 more joined, and then another 1 more joined, and we had a teacher that was like a Spanish Sprachassistent or something like this, like a language assistant or something like this, and he quit. That's the first loss that we had. Then another classmate that had joined later, they kicked him out. Then another classmate that joined at the beginning, but from a group who weren't from Spain, they also kicked him out. And then another one very recently, both of these last ones very recently, like in the past month, after coming back from vacations, he left by himself. So yeah, we are I guess less people than we were before at the beginning. And yeah, the classes are fine. My performance is really good. I'm probably the best one in like note department, in like the marks department and such. And yeah, so in that sense I'm not worried about this. But yeah, I mentioned here the scariest thing. The scariest thing are the days where we have to drive trains, not because of the driving itself, but because of the interactions with the teachers who let us drive and such, with the trainers. They are called trainers. And those interactions are the most stressful things. The day before, interacting with them and then seeing how it's going to be in the cabin, and the awkward moments, them not understanding fully or us not understanding them fully, or me understanding but my classmate not understanding, these kind of things, right? Those are the worst things, I would say. And yeah, I think I will go on a little bit more about this in the questions department. So I feel like we can switch to the New Year's resolutions. This is a tie-in to the past video. This is actually a tie-in to the past February video where I did discuss how I was doing in my New Year's resolutions department, and I thought it would be an interesting thing to mention here because it's also like related to this. It's nice to see how it's been evolving throughout the year, right? And these are the resolutions that I have, and the first one is physical activity, and it was more or less being consistent with physical activity or keeping a regular schedule of physical activity. Didn't predefine which kind, and I will say that in this case I have kept up with it. I started a strength routine, you could say, in the gym, mainly building my butt, and I have actually been really consistent with this since I started it. I don't exactly know when I started it, maybe May, I forgot. But since I started, I am being consistent with it. Wednesdays and Saturdays I do my strength routine, and I am quite consistent with this. Less consistent with cardio. I don't do any fixed day of cardio. I just kind of do my steps and try to hit many steps and to go on a walk most days, right? And most days I feel like I hit 7,000, 8,000 steps just by walking to class, or like in class walking to get food for in the pause or something like this. So I will say that I am kind of consistently being physically active. So that's good. One resolution that I am kind of keeping, and I feel like it's a pretty important one. So yeah, in that sense, I am happy about this. Then the next resolution is my checking. I had this checking my environment. My example was like the list of the places that I want to go to in order to be exploring a little bit more, exploring of my surroundings and to not cocoon myself too much. And I will say that I'm not really doing it as big as I intended to with this. Even though the list was just like literally checking a list, I'm not even checking the list. So it was not a huge resolution, but I'm not doing it. I will say that I am adding places to my Google Maps list. So in a sense, it's kind of fulfilling a little bit of that. And I am going to some restaurants sometimes that I had marked on my lists, for example. So there is a little bit of list action going on, but it's not, I guess, as oriented to like be accomplishing things that I had already listed and those kind of things. I'm doing less of that. Then, next resolution, make at least 10 YouTube videos. I achieved this resolution in April. In April, I did 1 video per day, so it's already 31. And so, as I was saying, I did record these 31 videos in April, but I'm not sure if I'm achieving this thing in spirit because, yeah, I kind of am making videos regularly, right? The point of making at least 10 YouTube videos was make 1 video a month, right? If I make 1 video a month, 12 months, I make more than 10 videos, right? So in the year. So by doing 31 on 1 month, it's kind of avoiding the spirit. It's kind of achieving the spirit because I did make the videos, but it's also avoiding it in spirit because it was supposed to be like keep consistency. So the consistency, I am keeping it streaming. For example, I am streaming kind of regularly every Sunday. I've streamed, if I'm not mistaken, either every Sunday or then on the Monday afterwards or something like this. I think I have streamed at least once a week. I mean, avoiding technicalities, for example, maybe 1 week I streamed on Monday and then on Sunday because the previous week I didn't stream any day, right? But you get what I mean, right? I think I am doing this streaming thing very regularly, but I am not doing the video thing regularly. For example, I had planned to create another channel to make videos about other topics and such, and in that front, or I have a huge backlog of videos that I have recorded, including a podcast that I should get around to editing someday, and that I so far have not done. Also because my computer doesn't really help. It's not a fast computer where editing is easy, and I don't have a great setup, so that doesn't help anyways. But I guess I would say it's not the best setup to really get into making videos in a in a way where they come out easily, right? Plus time, plus many other things. Then writing, I had this kind of write at least 100 times or 100 journal entries, less than one every 3 days, but still one every 3 days. So far away from this that it's basically a no. I did add a bot, maybe in spirit counting AI, because I do write to AI something every other day or so, or basically every day I do write something to AI, whether it's about cooking, whether it's about discussing some topics, etc. So in that sense, I could export everything I say to AI and put it on a journal, and it would kind of be maybe more than 100 times, but it's not fully like writing. It's more like going back and forth with some machine. So it's not exactly the same, but in spirit it is kind of, I guess, working on things, thinking about things, etc. in a way, but not exactly like I wanted to. Then start studying 2 weeks before a test. At the beginning I was doing it. I did Anki really regularly, and in that sense I did achieve some of this, and I got to a point where I was doing it regularly. I would say up until Rangieren in trains. Rangieren is like, it was the first big thing, and that's related to real train related things, like real Bahnbetrieb, real train service. And there I was quite on point with the flashcards and such. After that, not really. But my performance is still good, right? I'm still top of the class. I'm still getting the highest, almost the highest possible marks in the tests and such. But I did stop doing what I said that I wanted to do. I said start studying 2 weeks. I didn't say be the best one. I said start studying 2 weeks, right? That was very clearly marked this way because the point was to be consistent about it regardless of the result, right? And I kind of stopped doing it, so I think I should definitely rework on this. And then my last New Year resolution was make money online at least once, $100 at least. It was like so that I don't do some kind of cheating type thing, as like, hey, can someone donate $10 for me for this stupid thing or whatever? And so it's not like this. So it's a little bit more consistent, like a bigger sum, like something that can be considered, okay, I actually made some money. And this is the most definitive one, no, and it's not really looking good. I don't think I will achieve this one this year, unless in these 3 months until December, some chip flips, some switch flips or something, and I think of something that is like monetizable or something like that. But it's not looking great. Then let's go on to the question sections. I had these questions in this sense. So in this since like 3 or 4 or I don't know, since a lot of updates ago, I am doing this, and I feel like it's also a good time to revisit these questions because they are interesting. These are from a YouTuber. I forgot her name. It started with the letter K. Anyways, the whole story about why I'm doing these questions and what video they come from is on a past status update. And let's go into it. The first question is, how do I feel about my money situation right now? And I will say that this is good. Since I have a job now, since I'm getting paid to study this train thing, my money situation is pretty good. I have a lot of money in comparison to most of my life. And I guess the main preoccupation is let's go with what I've written. I've written that it's decent. It's not mega abundant in some sense, because there are some moments where I get hit with a sense of scarcity and envy, right? I do make a relatively decent money, and I pay little rent right now, but the situation is complicated, and you do see a lot of money out there, right? You do see a lot of expensive cars, etc., expensive items, expensive clothes, expensive things. So yeah, there is a sense of envy or a sense of, ooh, I am actually not doing that well. And there's always this looming thing about rent. So it doesn't feel super abundant, but I can, like in the actual reality of life, I can afford many caprices, as I've written here. Like, for example, I can buy clothes. I've spent a lot of money in stupid clothes, and I still have money left, and I've been saving still. I've bought some food, and that, I guess, like eating out. I don't eat out every day or such, but when I do want to, I do it, and I get what I want, and I don't think about it. And snacks, well, I think about it, but I don't give a fuck, basically, and I buy a lot of stupid snacks like potato chips and such, and like little, I don't know, industrial bakery things and like normal bakery things and things, and I don't care about how much it costs. I simply buy it. So in that sense, it's good. I can afford whatever things I want to get. I can't afford things like big technological purchases or things like this every time, but yeah, I like for those I do have to save or like be mindful. In that sense, I can't afford to waste that much money on that. But for these kind of other topics, I can basically get what I want, which is nice. It's a nice feeling. And I will say that I am a little bit scared for the future, and there is a lot of uncertainty in the next stages, right? Well, I like it because it's a spoiler. But yeah, I'm a little bit scared for the future, especially for rent, because I don't know. Right now, my rent is really low because it's kind of like subsidized by the company, and I'm living in this kind of hotel paying relatively little rent. We'll see how the situation changes when I have to move into my own place. Plus, when I'm working. Yeah, and I am scared for that. I'm scared. Will I be able to get the space that I want for the money that is convenient, for an amount of money that is convenient, right? We'll see. How do you feel about your job, employment situation, daily activities right now? I feel worse than at the beginning. I mentioned here that at the beginning with my Führerschein and such, I was like really doing my Anki, really on top of things. And right now I feel way less on top of things. I feel like I could get caught by mistakes and things like this much more easily. And it also started being like really handheld through it. We were being like really handheld through it, and for every question that we had, it's like it felt like we were getting better answers and such. Now it's like the questions that we have are being less answered. Well, they are answered, but the answers are like, well, it doesn't matter, or things like this, right? But overall, I am kind of satisfied. I don't mind the grind, right? When I think of like, whoa, I'm getting paid for this, whether it's like some external seminar about something, or whether it's like going to class, I'm like, I'm actually kind of satisfied that I'm getting paid for doing this, right? It's interesting. And here, I am scared for the future, though. That is like the feeling that it still remains, because this is just studying. I wonder if I'll actually like the work itself, right? Or like how the work will be, how especially the talking to teammates and like talking to bosses and things like this, like these kind of social relationships in Germany, and I don't know, that kind of thing is scary a little bit. In teams and with people above you and people below you, not really, right? People above you and things like this. So yeah, that kind of thing does give me a lot of uncertainty and such. But right now, I do feel pretty satisfied with how it's going. With this kind of employment situation, the routine, you could say, with this particular site, that is, I am quite satisfied. I do feel like there is a little bit of I would like to have more time, a little bit. Well, let's see. I would like to have a bit to feel like I have some more free time for other things, perhaps too. For other things, perhaps. There are some things that I would like to do as well, right? Things that I've mentioned here, like videos or whatever, but also, I don't know, exploring a little bit more, going on trips. So I feel like in that is one thing that could improve when I start working, because when I start working, I think I get more days together to do more things, right? And less pressure of, oh, I have these 3 days together, but I have a test right after, right? There is like that less of that pressure. So I feel like that is an aspect that could improve, having more free time to do other things or such. But yeah. Art pastimes that I like to learn or practice. I'm looking at getting my motorcycle driving license. So yeah, that's basically the main thing that I'm thinking about. Aside from this, I'm not thinking of a lot of things. Movies and video games are basically the only thing I think of doing, and I don't even do it that much. I don't watch that many movies or play that many video games. So yeah, music, let's not even talk about it. A classmate is talking about theater and such. Not really. I'm not sure if I would sign up for that. I also think of test drives, I would say, like test driving cars and such. Test driving cars, I think of it, but I don't do it, right? And videos and such sometimes. Like this is related to videos. How do I feel about the environment I live in right now? Decent. I like my studio apartment. It's small, but I like it. I've come to like having a small space. The area is acceptable and well connected, like where I live, the location. Even though it's really far away, it's like well connected, so I can be in the center of the city quite easily. And the gym being in the building is super convenient for this kind of habit forming things. And I guess it also being a hotel, right? Yesterday I wanted to watch Lost in Translation because I like this hotel vibe, right? The hotel vibe, I kind of like it, right? I like this kind of sense of anonymity, sense of like a lot of people going in and out, and something that detracts from this, right? A bit worried because there's been a recent influx of people who are from my same course, right? Not my same course, but from the course that I have. Well, all of us from our same course are in the same building, which is a little bit, it removes a little bit from this hotel vibe, but it has its positives. But then there has been a recent influx of people who are not from my same course, but who are from like next levels of our same course. So they like also only speak Spanish, blah blah blah, right? And have learned German after us, etc. They are like the next classes, the next cohorts, and they've been brought here. So there's like a lot more people who are Spanish speaking, or some are Hungarian, who are in this building, in the same building, but which I do kind of see every day around class and such. So it removes from this kind of hotel vibe, and it becomes a little bit more like, oh, the same people from work are here again, and these people, it's not like I get along super well with them. It's kind of like I don't get. It's not that I don't get along; it's that we don't have like any type of connection, right? Just this kind of visual thing of seeing them at work, which is strange because you recognize them, but yeah, I don't know, that kind of thing. So yeah, decent, but that kind of small aspect it feels like it removes a little bit of this sense of safety, a sense of like, okay, I have my private space, right? It feels more like, oh, this space is actually I'm surrounded with the same people in work. How do I feel about following my intuition lately? Depends on the context. I've picked up a context where I feel well, for example, food. In food, when I'm cooking, I feel like I can follow my intuition decently. I feel like if I start cooking something, it's good, and there's good chances that I'm making the right decisions on my own, right? I asked ChatGPT and Claude for a lot of things, but Claude either just confirms some things that I was thinking of, or like my input to it is like their initial input, their initial output is kind of incomplete, and my subsequent inputs complete the thing and make a better product overall, which makes me confident on my intuition, or it's just like confirmation bias, right? I ask something and it spits me out something that I would have thought on my own, kind of. And sometimes the ideas that it has are good, but I am able to confirm like mentally that they will work, or things like this, right? So it's like a good feeling of like complementary things, it's complementing my intuition rather than me replacing it, right? Which, for example, for other things, it's not that clear. In other situations, I'm not sure how I feel about following my intuition. For example, socially, I'm not really sure exactly about where are the limits on things like this, or like who likes whom, that kind of thing. I don't know. Those intuitions are a little bit harder to pinpoint and such. Then, what really makes me happy? These questions are always really difficult, so the answers are short because more or less because I don't really know. Some, I guess, development that I've thought to this question, an inhibition, right? Feeling inhibited, like drinking some alcohol and then having a chat with some people who are also like into that and who are kind of in that same wave, and just chit-chatting and such feels good, right? It feels good being uninhibited and like being able to talk shit and to right, and to yap and things like this without thinking a lot about who's judging, who's blah blah blah, right? That feels good, but I'm not sure if it's complete happiness, right? And this is really tied to the who really makes me happy question. The people with whom I feel like I can uninhibited myself are a breath of fresh air in that sense, right? In that sense, you could say happiest or like the freest I feel is when this situation arises, right? When I feel like I can say anything and it will not be received badly. Or it's also not really about the reception either. It's more about, it's kind of about the reception, kind of about some kind of internal sense of it. I don't know. But yeah, there are some people who it feels more like a breath of fresh air. But I'm not sure if that's something like they really make me happy, right? It's a difficult question, obviously. And then how is my health? I'm fine physically. I've gained a little bit of weight since arriving from vacation, especially from August, because in August I didn't do exercise. That's the one place where I haven't been consistent in this kind of physical activity consistency. And because of that, plus the way I ate after coming back and such, where I had a couple of streaks of eating a lot of times outside, I think I've gained a little bit of weight, but I think it's fine. Plus, I'm coming back to the routine also. So yeah, I feel like I am fine physically. Then I've scheduled a doctor appointment for soon, this Thursday actually. And yeah, I wrote here mental because I maybe want to bring some things up. The appointment is for a vaccine, so it's not just like this, but I would like to bring some things up to see where it takes me and things like this, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, in that sense, like the mental part is not that well. I'm struggling with some of the same things I've been struggling since forever, so maybe I'll see if I can try and solve them. Maybe not, we'll see. And yeah, that's basically my status update of September 2025. We'll see how the next updates are in the following months, and we'll see how it evolves, how the resolutions go, whether I write new different resolutions for the following year and such, and we'll see. I think it's already September, so it's kind of time to be thinking about that, right? We'll see. So yeah, thank you for watching. Feel free to watch the previous status updates, or maybe the next, I guess, true also, because there will be a playlist linked here. So yeah, feel free to watch that, and bye bye.